Hey guys, it's Owen from Wrestling Inc. back with another wrestling news roundup. Without any further ado, let's get into today's biggest stories in the world of professional wrestling. Shane McMahon reportedly quietly let go from WWE due to Royal Rumble heat. Shane McMahon's WWE return has reportedly ended already. As we've noted, WWE brought Shane back for the 30-man Royal Rumble match on Saturday. He worked the match as a competitor, but was also the lead producer and writer for the match. This led to major locker room heat for McMahon over the way he took charge of the booking and allegedly tried to make the match about himself. In an update, Ringside News reports that Shane has been, quote, quietly let go by WWE. It was noted that WWE creative writers were told in a, quote, semi-quiet way that, quote, there will be no more creative discussions about Shane McMahon, and that they have now, quote, moved on to other creative discussions. It was previously reported how Shane was scheduled to wrestle at WWE Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania 38, but now those plans have 100% been scrapped, according to the report. It was also reported earlier this week that plans called for Shane to work the Raw brand as a heel, but those plans have also been nixed. The report also stated that WWE Chairman and CEO Vince McMahon had no choice but to take the action against his own son due to the heat from the Rumble. Shane has not been a WWE employee for some time and was, quote, supposed to be involved in the XFL, but then COVID-19 hit, and the league went into bankruptcy. WWE then brought Shane back for another run to begin at the Rumble, but that run has already ended. Quote, Vince had no choice. Shane created chaos, had everyone in an uproar, pissed everyone off in the Rumble, openly buried other producers, and was changing things that Vince wanted. Vince had no other choice but to send him home, end quote, a WWE source said. The report also noted that Vince is, quote, quietly using the term, quote, let go to describe the situation with Shane. While the term blackballed has not been used, word from within WWE is that Shane was, quote, pretty much let go. McMahon entered the 30-man Royal Rumble match at number 28 and was the 28th elimination, tossed out by Lesnar after 5 minutes and 38 seconds in the match. He picked up just one elimination, and that was Kevin Owens. There is no confirmation on what WWE had planned for Shane at Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania 38, but we will keep you updated. Brian Kendrick gone from WWE, will make AEW debut against top star. Veteran pro wrestler Brian Kendrick is set to make his AEW debut this week. As noted back in late January, Kendrick requested his release from WWE officials around 6 weeks before and had not been at any of the WWE NXT TV tapings for his NXT/205 Live producer/coach job. The timeline for Kendrick's request was interesting as he was scheduled to wrestle Haaland on the December 28 NXT episode. That match never happened, and it was believed the bout was nixed due to COVID-19 precautionary measures, but that was never confirmed. Kendrick did participate in a backstage angle with Haaland the week before the planned bout. In an update, Fightful Select reported earlier yesterday evening that Kendrick had received his WWE release and he was no longer under contract. AEW then announced that Kendrick will make his AEW debut against Jon Moxley tonight on AEW Dynamite from the Wintrust Arena in Chicago. There is no word yet on if Kendrick is under contract to AEW, but we will keep you updated. Kendrick has not wrestled since teaming with Mansoor for a victory over 2.0 on the October 30 edition of WWE 205 Live. He announced in early 2021 that he was semi-retired and that he was transitioning into the role of a WWE producer but would still wrestle part-time. Backstage talk on issues with the Women's Royal Rumble match. There were reportedly issues with the 30-woman Royal Rumble match at Saturday's WWE Royal Rumble event. We noted before how legendary wrestler and producer Fit Finlay was brought in to work the Women's Rumble. He has been working behind the scenes in NXT for the past year. Tyson Kidd usually works with the WWE Women's divisions, but now Fightful Select reports that Finlay was brought in because Kidd has not been producing matches for WWE for several weeks now. It was noted that the reason for Kidd's absence was actually tied to the Royal Rumble, but no other details were provided. Kidd is still a WWE employee and is still working as a producer, but his absence was felt by the wrestlers on Saturday. Wrestlers who participated in the Women's Royal Rumble said it was, quote, a mess, and the morale was already low. This comes after a rehearsal for the match was held on Friday night. One talent noted that WWE should have had more main roster or contracted talent than veterans on hand for the match. Another talent described the bout as, quote, complete chaos. Regarding Kid, word is that at least one woman's talent passed on participating in the Rumble because they learned Kid was not the producer. Besides Finlay, the other producers assigned to the Women's Rumble were Shane Helms, Pat Buck, WWE Hall of Famer Michael Hayes, and WWE Hall of Famer Molly Holly, who was also an entrant in the match. Backstage news on scrap WWE Royal Rumble entrance. In a new report, it has been revealed that there were several changes behind the scenes on the day of the Royal Rumble event. Several of these ended up affecting Seth Rollins, who had a couple of plans nixed throughout Saturday. On the latest edition of Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer noted that WWE originally had planned for Seth to be part of the Men's Royal Rumble match. Of course, that didn't happen, but it wasn't the only change he dealt with. Rollins did defeat Roman Reigns in the opening match via disqualification. However, the first idea was for the Tribal Chief to win the match. However, once the chair shots were added for the post-match beatdown, Vince McMahon personally altered the finish. He felt that the attack and a defeat would be too much for Seth. Because of the beatdown, it was also decided he should not be in the Royal Rumble match. This was to sell the attack, but Shane McMahon was pushing hard for him to be involved in that. The entire plan for the pay-per-view was to push both Roman and Brock Lesnar, as WWE feels that this is the biggest match of the year. Because of that, everything that happened on the show was to accentuate them both. Of course, both men will be competing against each other at WrestleMania 38. Lesnar is now attempting to regain his WWE Championship at the upcoming Elimination Chamber. This is because the Beast wants to make it a title versus title match. He will compete inside the steel structure against current champion Bobby Lashley, Rollins, Austin Theory, Riddle and AJ Styles. It wasn't just Rollins that was affected at the Royal Rumble though. Alexa Bliss was apparently also supposed to be in the women's match, but that was changed too. While she did appear on Monday Night Raw this week, the former SmackDown Women's Champion is yet to get back in the ring since returning to television. Keith Lee, Karrion Kross and other released WWE stars now free agents. 10 superstars released by WWE last November 4 are now officially free agents. The list includes Karrion Kross, Keith Lee, Mia Yim, Ember Moon, Davey Boy Smith Jr., Harry Smith, Oney Lorcan, Gran Metalik, Lindsay Dorado, Eva Marie and Nia Jax. As of February 2nd, 2022, the wrestlers are out of their WWE non-compete clauses and free to sign with promotions such as AEW, Impact Wrestling, and New Japan Pro Wrestling. The November 4 WWE releases also include the likes of Frankie Monet, B-Fab, Scarlett Bordeaux, Trey Baxter, Jessie Kamea, Jeet Rama, Zayda Ramir, and Katrina Cortez. However, these NXT talents were on the 30-day non-compete clauses and became free agents back on December 4. Earlier on Tuesday, Kross posted an uplifting message on what the future holds for him while thanking fans who supported him during his stint in WWE/NXT. Quote, "Much on my mind as of late as I come to a close on this final period. In short, man, this was an incredible chapter of my life. Nothing but gratitude for every second. Thank you to everyone who came for the ride and thank you for letting me take you on one as well. 2020 to now has been a challenging period in human history. I hope I was able to cast some relief for people during these times. You all brought me to life every day and motivated me to find the best version of myself for you. As for the future, what you see next may disturb you, as I will not return in peace." Meanwhile, Keith Lee filed to trademark his Limitless nickname last month. He also filed for a new logo, which he will likely use in his post-WWE career. WWE Raw scores best audience in months for post-Royal Rumble episode. Monday's live post-Royal Rumble edition of WWE Raw drew an average of 1.865 million viewers on the USA Network, according to Nielsen via Showbuzz Daily. This is up 5.61% from last week's 1.766 million viewers for the Rumble Go Home show. For this week's show, the first hour drew 2.083 million viewers, the second hour drew 1.879 million viewers, and the final hour drew 1.633 million viewers. Monday's post-Rumble Raw drew a 0.47 rating in the key 18 to 49 demographic. Raw ranked number 1 for the night on the cable top 150 with a 0.47 rating in the key 18 to 49 demographic. This is even with last week's number 1 spot. Raw ranked 10th for the night in viewership on cable. This week's Royal Rumble Go Home Raw drew the best audience since August 30 and the best key demo rating since the November 22nd post-Survivor Series episode. Monday's Raw viewership was down 1.42% from the same week in 2021, while the key demo rating was down 18.96% from the same week in 2021 too. The episode 1 year ago was also the post-Rumble show. So what are your thoughts on the stories covered in today's Wrestling News Roundup? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to like and subscribe to Wrestling Inc. and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.